Welcome, NEET aspirants. This question is from the chapter Body Fluids and Circulation, class 11. Lub sound of heart is caused by the lub is the first sound, and first sound is produced by the it is not opening, it will be closure of tricuspid and bicuspid valves. So option 4 is the right answer. Mark it on the OMR sheet, and we are done with this question. So, to understand the sounds produced by heart, Lub and Dub, we need to first understand the anatomy of heart. So, this diagram is a very simplified diagram, and I have used boxes to show the four chambers of human heart. So, see, the upper chambers are called atrium, they are also called auricles. So, left and right are labeled here. So the two lower chambers are called ventricles and labeled left and right. Now in between the atrium and ventricle, okay, there are valves. And the role of these valves is to prevent backflow of blood when the ventricles contract. So if you notice here, there are two flaps to this valve. And this is the reason this valve is called bicuspid valve. This is bicuspid. So cusp is the flap, hence the name bicuspid. There's another name to bicuspid, it is mitral valve. Now over here you can see three different cusps, three flaps, and therefore the name will be tricuspid. There is no other name, just like mitral, there is no other name for tricuspid valve. So this was asked in this question. Closure of bicuspid and tricuspid valve will produce the first sound. Now see, the other way I can say is when the ventricles contract, then the lub sound is produced. And then over here, there are another pair of valves. These are known as semilunar valve. And separately, this valve is called aortic valve, and this valve is called pulmonary valve. So, as the name suggests, from here the blood will flow into the pulmonary artery. Okay, pulmonary artery is the only artery which carries deoxygenated blood. And this valve is called aortic valve because the blood will flow into aorta. So if you notice here, all these three valves, they have three cusps in it. Only this one is bicuspid valve. So what is the common name given to these two valves? The common name is atrioventricular valve. So because the valve is between atrium and ventricle, and this is the reason it is called atrioventricular valve. So let's understand the cardiac cycle and why and when these sounds are produced. So we begin to understand the cardiac cycle. We begin with the consideration that both the chambers are relaxed. Joint diastole. Diastole means relaxed state, and joint means both upper and lower chamber. That means all four chambers are relaxed. And this is joint diastole. Now, what will happen? Blood will fill in all the chambers. So, this is vena cava and this is pulmonary vein. Okay. So, blood flows in, and because these valves are open, okay, blood will go further down into the ventricles. So ventricles will also get filled with blood. So at this point of time, these valves are closed. Then next step will be atrial systole. So atrial systole, first thing, if you remember the ECG, so this is the ECG I have shown to compare the events, okay? So when the SA node fires action potential, it causes depolarization of atrium. And this depolarization is followed by atrial systole. That means contraction of the upper chamber. Both the auricles, they will contract. So this arrow, these two arrows, they indicate contraction or systole in the atrium. So what will happen? The blood will flow down and it will empty the atrium completely. In the next step, the action potential travels down from AV bundle into the Purkinje fibers, and then ventricular depolarization will happen. So QRS indicates ventricular depolarization. So ventricular depolarization will be followed by ventricular systole. So in the next step, you will see something like this. The ventricles contract, but by the time the atrium, they will undergo relaxation. That means diastole. So increase in the volume will cause decrease in the pressure. Okay. So here volume increases due to diastole and pressure decreases. And simultaneously, because of ventricular systole, here the pressure increases, okay, and volume decreases. Pressure increase and volume decreases. So what will happen? Because of increase in the pressure, the blood will try to go back into the atrium. Okay. And to prevent the backflow, these two valves will quickly close, and therefore they make this sound, lub sound. So lub sound is made by the closure of atrioventricular valve. In case any student is in hurry, he will only read bicuspid and tricuspid and he will mark option number 2 in hurry. Okay. So the question was designed in such a way to test whether you are reading carefully all the options or not. So that was one way to ask how lub sound is produced. There's another way they can ask you is when the atrial diastole happens, then also you can say lub sound is produced. Another way they can ask you is the lub sound is produced due to ventricular systole, okay, or due to pressure increase in ventricles or pressure decrease in atrium. There are plenty of ways they can twist the question and ask you. So you need to keep all these events in your mind, how lub sound is produced. The next step will be joint diastole. Again, why dub sound is produced? Because over here, when this diastole is happening, ventricular diastole is happening, volume is increasing and simultaneously pressure decreases. Volume increases, pressure decreases. So the blood which has entered in these blood vessels, because there is decrease in pressure, it will cause backflow. It is the fluid dynamics, okay? The pressure differences can cause the backflow of blood. And to avoid that backflow, these valves will quickly close. Two different ways this question can be framed. Dub sound is produced due to closure of semilunar valves. Another way they can say is dub sound is produced due to closure of aortic and pulmonary valve. So third way they can ask you is dub sound is produced when the ventricles relax or ventricles undergo diastole. So I hope you are clear with this concept. So one piece of advice, extra information which I like to give is, so if you happen to jump in open sea, okay, your heart sound and your electrical activity in heart can be detected by a shark miles away. Sharks have electrosensory organs. This is the beauty of biology. Thank you so much for watching my video.